Welcome back to Launch Your Online Business. Now that you've thought about what type of business you'll launch, what you might name it, and who your customer personas are, let's learn how to communicate with your customer. In today's marketplace, there are a lot of competitors. Your business needs to stand out and be memorable to potential customers so they think of you when they need your product, your service, subscription, or content. In Lesson 3, Creating Your Brand, it's all about branding. Branding is the way your business communicates with your customer. Everything your customer sees, hears, and touches as they interact with your brand are brand touchpoints. Your brand touchpoints represent your business, they stand for your values, and shape your customer's perception of your brand. Business and brand are interchangeable. Your brand is your business, and your business is your brand. My top 3 things to consider when developing your brand are brand promise, brand identity, and brand story. These essential elements will get you started on the road to developing your brand. Consistency across these elements will help you build brand trust with your customers and maintain their focus on what your brand, your business is all about. Let's start with brand promise. Brand promise is the statement you make to your customers about what they can expect from every interaction with your brand. It's not just about your products or your services, but it's also about your people and your organization as a whole. It's a promise of the unique value and experience your customers can expect to receive every time they interact with your business. The more you can deliver on your promise, the stronger your brand value is in the minds of your customers. When writing your brand promise, try answering the question, what do you do for whom? Let's look at some famous brands and see how they do it. So Nike, to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. What do you do? Bring inspiration and innovation to, and who do you do it for? Every athlete in the world. H&M, more fashion choices that are good for people, the planet, and your wallet. So what do you do? More fashion choices. Who do you do it for? People, planet, and your wallet. They really make it look easy, don't they? Now let's think about your business. For instance, if you have a bodega that you want to take online, your brand promise could be groceries for the neighborhood. What do you do? Groceries. Who do you do it for? Customers in the neighborhood. Groceries for the neighborhood is a broad brand promise. You're promising to provide groceries for the neighborhood. That's why you're in business. While it's a good promise and a worthy endeavor, lots of markets in the neighborhood could say the very same thing. I challenge you to get more specific. What sets you apart from your competitors? For example, you could have organic groceries for the neighborhood, farm fresh groceries for the neighborhood, locally grown groceries for the neighborhood. If you go with organic, your food must be all organic because you promised it would be. Same for farm fresh. Is it really? And locally grown, you should be able to name the farm it came from. Once you've written your brand promise, use it to shape all of your marketing and advertising materials. Remember, whatever you promise, you have to deliver, or you will erode trust and lose customers. And we don't want that. My brand promise for Rafina is, we design clothes for little dogs that we would wear if we were dogs. And we always deliver on that. Now let's move on to brand identity. Your brand identity is how your brand looks visually to your customers. Your logo, the style of typography, the colors you feature, your packaging, all make up your brand identity. Let's start with your logo. Your logo becomes a recognizable visual symbol to which your customers can easily identify. For example, the Nike swoosh, the apple used by Apple computers, and the Amazon smile. Nike swoosh represents the winged Greek goddess of victory and competition. Nike's first products, developed back in the 70s, were running shoes that helped athletes win races. The logo, developed in 1971, has changed very little over the years. The enduring brand recognition has helped them earn and keep brand trust. When we see the swoosh, we know it's Nike. Now, Apple's first logo, back in 1970, was an image of Isaac Newton, the man who revolutionized science with discoveries of gravity, sitting under an apple tree. Newton discovered gravity when an apple fell on his head. Steve Jobs, Apple's founder, though he liked that idea, he quickly got tired of the logo because even though it showed Newton was a nod to knowledge, he thought it was a little too old-fashioned looking. So Apple's logo evolved into a rainbow-colored apple, signifying the first Apple computer screens to display color, and it was modernized over time to the simple black apple, and finally, today, we see the updated apple that has the luminous 3D feel. The apple symbolizes knowledge. The bite out of it is a nerdy nod to computer term byte. So Amazon's logo was created to represent the message that it sells everything from A to Z. The arrow connects the two letters to represent the smile that customers would experience from shopping on Amazon.com. Now let's look at some examples of New York City logos. The Lobster Pound has a whimsical tow truck pulling a lobster. Fat Witch, a baking company, literally uses a fat witch. Brooklyn Barn, a clothing company, uses a barn door. And Moscot, an eyewear brand, uses very distinct eyeglasses. Gotham Greens delivers food to your home. They have a very simple and clever logo. And then my favorite, Russ and Daughters, a deli, uses a fish integrated with typography. Shake Shack, a New York eatery, incorporates a hamburger. And IKNA Construction uses an I-beam. Incorporating a graphic into your logo can make your brand more memorable and recognizable. The next element of brand identity is typography. What font feels like your brand? Are you big and bold, soft and swirly, personal, all business? The way a font looks says a lot about your brand. There are thousands of fonts to choose from. If you're using typography in your logo, I recommend using fonts that are very readable. For your website, I recommend using fonts that are offered by the platform that you choose to build on. The fonts used by platforms are designed for screen and are most readable. For consistency, use these same fonts for your packaging and any print materials you make, like business cards. Let's take a look at Google Fonts. It's a great tool to see how your brand name looks in different fonts. You can enter your brand name or your tagline to get an idea of how it looks. You can find this tool at fonts.google.com. The right color shows off your brand's personality. More than just a visual cue to your brand, like McDonald's Golden Arches, color conveys emotions, feelings, and experiences. Blue can be all business, red for adventure and strength, yellow for knowledge and light. Green can represent eco-friendly. Whatever color you pick, just remember to stick with them. Consistency in branding is so important. Imagine if Blue Bottle changed their color scheme to pink. The name wouldn't make sense anymore. They'd have to change their name to Pink Bottle. Anyway, there is no right or wrong answer with color. It should just make sense to you and your customer. And an important tip is to make sure that the logo you design or have designed also works in black and white. Often, if your logo appears in print publications like the newspaper or if you're featured as a sponsor of an event, your logo will need to look good in black and white. And finally, if you have a product or a subscription business, your packaging is a big part of your brand identity. Your packaging provides a unique identity for your product. It should not only keep your product safe from damage, but also fit your brand and appear different from your competitors' packaging. When your customers order online from your business, remember, the first physical contact they have with your brand is that package that you've shipped to them. This is a unique opportunity for your brand to make a favorable impression and strengthen your brand recognition. Although packaging is usually discarded, consider that some customers will hold on to packaging if they like its look or feel. Maybe they'll even reuse it when giving a gift to someone else. A couple of tips for packaging. Put your contact info somewhere on the package. Make it easy for customers to reach out to you if they need you. And do not put the product price on your packaging, as if your prices change over time, this will also make your packaging obsolete, and that can get very expensive. So now let's move on to brand story. Your brand story is another key element of your brand. Your story is a simple narrative that includes all the facts and feelings that are created by your brand. Unlike an advertisement that's meant to have a call to action, such as buy this product, your brand story inspires an emotional reaction from your customer. When you're writing your brand story, speak directly to your personas and tell them about how you got started. People shop with brands they like and identify with. Sharing where you came from, where you're headed, what your worldview or philosophy is, allows your customers to connect with your brand, and that connection builds trust. Your story has to be authentic and honest. Customers are really good at seeing through brands that don't feel real. And when you lose the trust of your customers, you lose their business. So let's look at some examples of brand stories told by some of my favorite New York brands. We can start with Baked by Melissa. I love her tagline, "Make life sweeter." You all know those little tiny cupcakes. So today and every day, we empower women to grow and achieve success, not only within our company, but as students, hardworking moms, and everything in between. We are always looking for new ways to give back to our communities and our planet. We've partnered with Girls Inc., Every Mother Counts, Dress for Success, and many more amazing teams that share our desire to make a positive impact for women everywhere. So I want to have a positive impact on women everywhere. I'll buy her cupcakes. It's easy for me. Now let's move on to Warby Parker. Their tagline, "Good eyewear, good outcome," and you'll see what I mean after hearing their brand story. We believe that buying glasses should be easy and fun. It should leave you happy and good looking, with money in your pocket. We also believe that everyone has the right to see. Almost 1 billion people worldwide lack access to glasses, which means that 15% of the world's population cannot effectively learn or work. To help address this problem, Warby Parker partners with nonprofits like Vision Spring to ensure that for every pair of glasses sold, a pair is distributed to someone in need. Well, I have to say, I love that idea, and I want to help people see too. Count me in. And then lastly, Chrome Industries, their tagline, "Useful, durable gear made for the city." And again, you'll understand that tagline when I read you their story. I won't read the whole thing, but over 2 decades ago, we made our first chrome bag with a Juki sewing machine, a few yards of industrial-grade nylon, military-grade truck tarpaulin, and the commitment to make durable, useful gear that works on and off the bike. We didn't have money to make a buckle that could hold the weight of a loaded messenger bag, so we salvaged seatbelt buckles out of junkyard cars. An icon was born. So you get the story. They go on to say, that they are interested in durable goods that last a long time, and they're totally committed to it. So I also buy their bags. If I need a good strong bag, I look to Chrome because I like where they come from, and I like how that they're interested in reusing things and not making crummy goods that fall apart in a heartbeat. So take 15 minutes and start reading the articles I found for you to help you learn more about creating your brand. Save these links for future reference.